I always thought my wife, Emily, and I had a strong relationship. Sure, we had our ups and downs like every couple, but I trusted her. That trust shattered one evening when I stumbled upon something I never expected. It started as a regular night. Emily was on the couch, scrolling through her phone, smiling at something on the screen. Curious, I casually asked, "What's so funny?" She quickly locked her phone, her smile disappearing in an instant. That was the first red flag. Later, when she went to take a shower, her phone buzzed on the table. Normally, I wouldn't even think of checking it, but this time something felt off. The message preview caught my eye. "Can't wait for the weekend getaway." My heart stopped. My hands trembled as I unlocked her phone. Something she'd given me the code for years ago. What I saw confirmed my worst fear. She was texting a man named Jake. The messages weren't just friendly. They were intimate, filled with plans for a romantic weekend getaway. "I've booked the room," one message read. "It's going to be perfect. Just you and me." Perfect? For them, maybe. But for me, it was the beginning of a nightmare. My mind raced with questions. How long had this been going on? Why was she doing this? Did she think I was so clueless I wouldn't notice? I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I closed the phone, put it back on the table, and sat down. My emotions were a storm: anger, betrayal, sadness. But one feeling stood out above all: determination. If she thought she could plan a secret weekend getaway with her lover, I had other plans. Plans that would make her regret every single lie. I stayed quiet, but I started preparing for what would be the most unforgettable weekend of her life. Couldn't sleep that night. My mind kept replaying the messages I'd seen on Emily's phone. Each word felt like a knife. But instead of letting anger consume me, I decided to act. I wasn't going to let her betrayal break me. I was going to turn the tables. The first step was finding out everything. The next morning, Emily acted like nothing was wrong. She kissed me goodbye before heading to work, leaving her phone on the kitchen counter. This was my chance. I opened the messages again. Jake had sent more details about their weekend plans: a fancy hotel by the lake, check-in on Friday evening, and a reservation for dinner at a high-end restaurant. They even had spa treatments booked. It was like they were mocking me with their audacity. But I didn't just stop there. I checked her emails and even her calendar. Everything matched up. She had told me she was going on a girls' weekend with her friend Sarah. A quick call to Sarah confirmed my suspicions. There was no girls' weekend. Sarah was out of town with her family. With all the pieces in place, I started planning my next move. I wasn't just going to confront her. No, that would be too easy. I wanted her to feel the weight of her actions, to understand the pain she was causing me. I called the hotel and asked a few questions about their reservation policies. Then I made some adjustments to the booking without her knowing. If she thought her romantic getaway with Jake would go smoothly, she was in for a surprise. By Thursday evening, everything was set. Emily still hadn't caught on. She was busy packing her bag, humming to herself like she didn't have a care in the world. Watching her act so normal made my blood boil, but I kept my cool. As she zipped up her suitcase, she turned to me with a smile. "I'll miss you this weekend," she said sweetly. I smiled back, pretending to believe her. "Have fun," I replied. Little did she know, I'd already ensured this weekend would be unforgettable, for all the wrong reasons. As she left the house Friday morning, suitcase in hand, I followed her at a safe distance. The stage was set, and the truth was about to come crashing down. Friday morning arrived, and Emily was all smiles as she left the house with her suitcase. I watched her drive off, knowing exactly where she was going. The anger I felt wasn't just from her betrayal, it was from the way she acted like nothing was wrong. But soon she'd face the truth. I had already made my calls and set my plan in motion. The first step was following her to confirm everything. I kept a safe distance as her car made its way out of town, heading toward the lakeside resort she and Jake had chosen for their secret getaway. When she pulled into the hotel parking lot, I parked a few spaces away, watching as she greeted Jake with a hug that made my stomach turn. They walked into the hotel hand in hand, laughing like they didn't have a care in the world. I took a deep breath. This was it. I walked into the hotel lobby a few minutes after them, keeping my head low so they wouldn't spot me. The receptionist was exactly who I needed. "Hi," I said with a calm smile. "I'm here to confirm a surprise for my wife. Emily, last name. She's staying here this weekend with Jake, last name. Can I double-check the reservation details?" The receptionist nodded and pulled up the booking. I saw their names on the screen, along with their room number. Perfect. I handed over an envelope I had prepared earlier. "This is a special delivery for them," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Could you make sure they get it as soon as possible?" The envelope contained two things: a copy of the messages I'd found on Emily's phone and a handwritten note from me. It read, "Surprise! I hope your weekend getaway is everything you dreamed of. You'll need it, because when you get home, your life as you know it will be over." But that wasn't all. I had also made a call to the hotel earlier to cancel their dinner reservation and leave a very public note about why it was canceled. I wanted everyone to know exactly why they were here. Satisfied, I left the hotel and waited in my car. It was only a matter of time before the truth came crashing down on them. I watched the lobby doors, waiting for the moment Emily and Jake would emerge, their perfect weekend plans ruined. Little did they know the storm was just beginning. I didn't have to wait long. About an hour later, Emily and Jake burst through the hotel's front doors. Emily clutched the envelope in her hand, her face pale and panic-stricken. Jake looked around nervously, probably wondering if I was nearby. I stayed in my car, parked far enough away to watch unnoticed. They walked toward a bench near the entrance, clearly arguing. Emily's voice was sharp, cutting through the air. "I told you this was risky. What if he's here?" Jake waved her off, trying to act calm, but his uneasiness was obvious. "Relax, Emily. He's not here. He probably just found out and sent this to scare you." Scare her? He had no idea what was coming next. I stepped out of my car and walked toward them, my heart pounding but my expression calm. As soon as Emily saw me, her face drained of color. Jake stiffened, his bravado crumbling. "Well," I said, my voice steady despite the anger bubbling inside me, "I hope you two are enjoying your romantic getaway." Emily stammered, trying to come up with an excuse. "It's not what it looks like." "Don't," I interrupted, holding up my hand. "Don't insult me by lying. I've seen the messages. I know everything." Jake tried to step in. "Look, man, this isn't—" I cut him off with a glare. "You don't get to talk. This is between me and my wife." Emily's eyes filled with tears, but I felt no sympathy. "How could you do this to me, Emily? To us? After everything we've been through?" She looked down, unable to meet my gaze. I don't know what to say," she whispered. "For once," I said coldly, "you don't have to say anything. Your actions said it all." I turned to Jake. "And you? Was it worth it? Sneaking around, lying to everyone?" Jake mumbled something about it being a mistake, but I didn't care. This wasn't about him. It was about her. I reached into my pocket and pulled out another envelope. "Here's something for you, Emily. Divorce papers. I've already signed them. Consider this the start of your new life." Her tears spilled over as she took the envelope. "Please, let's talk about this," she begged. "I made a mistake, but we can fix it." I shook my head. "You didn't just make a mistake, Emily. You made a choice, over and over again. And now you have to live with it." I walked away, leaving Emily and Jake sitting there, their perfect weekend ruined. But I wasn't done yet. There was one final move to make sure they'd never forget the consequences of their betrayal. As I drove away from the hotel, I felt a strange mix of emotions: anger, sadness, and, oddly enough, relief. Emily's betrayal had shattered our life together, but now I had taken back control. The hardest part was over, or so I thought. By the time I got home, word had already started to spread. You see, the hotel staff had been very cooperative when I asked them to deliver that envelope. But I also made sure the story didn't stay between just the three of us. A little call to a mutual friend here, a casual mention there. It didn't take long for the whispers to turn into a storm. Emily came home on Sunday evening. Her face was puffy, her eyes red from crying. She looked exhausted, like the weight of the weekend had crushed her. She didn't speak as she walked into the house, but I could see the fear in her eyes. "Everything okay, Emily?" I asked, my tone deliberately neutral. She sat down at the kitchen table, clutching the divorce papers I'd handed her at the hotel. "Please," she whispered, "can we talk about this? I know I hurt you, but I need a chance to explain." I leaned against the counter, crossing my arms. "Explain what, Emily? How you lied to me. How you planned a romantic getaway with another man while pretending to be on a girls' trip. What exactly do you think will fix this?" Her voice broke as she tried to speak. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I don't even know why I did it. Jake meant nothing to me. I was just, I don't know. I felt like something was missing." "Missing?" I repeated, my voice rising. "And you thought this was the solution? Instead of talking to me, you chose to betray me?" She broke down, sobbing into her hands. For a moment, I felt a twinge of pity, but it quickly faded. "Emily," I said, my tone firm, "what you're feeling right now? That's called regret. And it's exactly what I wanted you to feel." She looked up at me, her face a mess of tears. "Do you hate me?" I paused, choosing my words carefully. "I don't hate you, Emily. I'm disappointed in you. I'm hurt, and I can't be with someone I can't trust." The finality of my words seemed to hit her like a ton of bricks. She nodded slowly, wiping her tears. "I'll sign the papers," she whispered. As the days passed, Emily moved out. The gossip about her affair had spread through our social circle, and she had to face the consequences of her actions. Jake? He disappeared as quickly as he had appeared, proving that their so-called love was nothing more than a fleeting infatuation. As for me, I began to rebuild. It wasn't easy, but I found strength in knowing I had stood up for myself. I surrounded myself with supportive friends and family, people who reminded me of my worth. Looking back, I realized that Emily's betrayal didn't define me. It revealed her true character. Sometimes, life throws us into situations we never asked for, but how we respond to them defines who we are. Sitting alone in my newly quiet home, I had time to reflect on everything that had happened. The betrayal, the confrontation, and the aftermath. It had all been a whirlwind of emotions. But in the stillness, I found something unexpected. Clarity. Emily's actions had hurt me deeply, but they also taught me a valuable lesson about myself. I realized that I deserved honesty, respect, and love, things she could no longer provide. By walking away, I wasn't just ending a marriage. I was reclaiming my self-worth. The journey forward wouldn't be easy, but I was determined to rebuild my life on my terms. And as painful as it was, I felt a strange sense of freedom. No more lies, no more second-guessing. Just a fresh start. Sometimes, the people we trust the most will let us down. It's a harsh truth, but it's also a reminder of the strength we have within us. We can't always control what others do, but we can control how we respond. What would you have done in my place? Have you ever had to start over after someone you trusted let you down? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how you found your strength. And if you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Life is full of unexpected twists, but together, we can learn from every turn.